Hello, this is Malorian, and this will be my summary of the Onslaught tournament. And, I mean, obviously, for those that already watched the battle report, I did not do as well as I thought I was going to do. Just kind of really breaking down the overall, I mean, one of the real things that came to it is me seeing some of the real weaknesses of the army. The whole thing of dealing with stupidity, and the fact that I did not put in the highest leadership possible in order to counter that. Even with, I mean, I can't remember what my roles were, but either way, just knowing that's a weakness in there, stupidity, and the low leadership. Even with the leadership banner, getting leadership 9, you know, there was times where I had to split up the two, and then all of a sudden I'm just leadership 8, and even though odds are in my favor, I knew I was holding this amount of risk, and there it was, right? It bit me in the butt, and that's something you have to accept when you build that into your list. As well, the whole thing of my whole aspect of 6 dice all the way for a foot of Gork. And, you know, first of all, to say that, you know, that happened. You know, I got the miscast. It happens when you go with that aggressively. I lost my level 4, which was my general, which in this build, again, that was a weakness I had built into my list, and it just happened to bite me in the butt. Of course, I had the stuff, too, where I was just really stupid and did some really stupid things. But as far as getting to the list again, it was also interesting to see that Foot of Gork didn't have as much of an effect in this tournament as it usually does. Usually I see whole units being smashed the whole time. But in this one, apart from where it smashed some spearmen while killing my own level 4, it really didn't do very much. So that was kind of an interesting thing to see. So that's kind of like a general over impression. Bringing it down unit by unit. The level 4... the biggest problem I had with my level 4 this time was the fact with animosity. So there's different ways where I can be counteracting the whole animosity means no magic thing. I can be having it by itself, which I'm not going to do. I could be having a black orc in there to shut down animosity, but that's a lot of point investment. I could also make it a front rank model. I could be either giving it the Fencer's Blades, making sure it's up with the Black Orcs, and you know what? I really think that might be the way I'm going to go. Is that from now, whether it's a Savage or not, I'm going to be going with a front rank, level 4, and I'll also be paying that extra 35 points to give it weapon skill 10. And the thing is, too, I mean, all of a sudden then, the Fists of Gork is a more effective spell as well. So I think that's something I learned here, is that even though I like going with the bunker, the way it works with orcs, I think my level 4 Great Shaman is going to be a frontline fighter from now on. And we're going to be spending the points for another war boss to be the general. Depends on the points, but usually probably not. I mean, I really still like having more units. So with that then, the BSB with the leadership banner, still really nice, but then if I'm going to be splitting up the two, there'll be no need for that leadership banner. I still like keeping them cheap and out of the way. Going down from there, my Savage Orc Biggins, you know, they're still great. They didn't do so hot here. My Night Goblins, the whole idea where I made them bigger than usual, I really saw that they were in the Bretonnian game. I got to use them, where if they just were a bunker, they couldn't have done it. But the way that they were with a little bit bigger and just a few more points, they were able to get the job done. Now, I am going to have to free up the points to get the Fencer's Blades, so maybe I'll just shrink them back down. But of course, I'm sure the whole list will be changing anyway, so we'll have to see how that goes. The Wolf Riders with shields. Saving the 5 points was great. I didn't miss having the spears or the bows. I mean, they're so situational. I mean, maybe charging in the eagle, it would have been nicer to have spears, but really having the 4+ save was also just as nice. So I think a lot of times I'm going to be taking them, saving the 5 points. Special, the trolls. When they were good, they were really good. But then there's the times where they just could not get it done. I think part of my problem here is I still, by looking at them, I've run into the same trap with the Black Orc. So I think this unit's so amazing, just throw it on up, it'll just kill everything. And I think that's kind of what really hurt me with the Bretonnian game, where really I just went for the long bomb charge, took on 3 lances, and thought, yeah, I'm just going to kill them all at the same time. And then because of that, there was so much various different attacks back on me that where if I could have maybe broken them, then all of a sudden I didn't win, get flanked, blah, blah, blah. So I could have been more careful, held it back, only get charged by a couple, and really the damage incoming to me wasn't going to be that bad, but the whole thing is just not to fight as many lances at the same time. I don't know, it's something I have to always work on, is that I'm always very aggressive with my list, and sometimes it bites me in the butt. Will I run the Troll Horde again? You bet. I got a tournament coming up here in November where I'm going to be using it again. Am I going to be using it every time? Well, God, no. I mean, it's just so many points. What is it, 630 for the whole horde? So, I mean, especially if I just want to change around my list just for something different, that's a lot of points locked into that one unit. But it is really nice to have it painted and being used. Other stuff for special, I have my Black Orcs. They did as well as usual. I mean, when they weren't fighting a unit that's immune to flaming attacks. That is one thing I'm actually wondering about, if maybe with my BSB I should put the flaming banner there, so that then when it comes down to the whole deployment game, I could always switch it to wherever I want it to be. But then I'd have to probably also switch it to an orc, and I have to worry about being killed. We'll have to kind of see about that one too. But I mean, black orcs are always awesome. Something I have to really looking at as well is the fact that somebody said I have ADD because I always have to take them in block of 40, and I think that's a very honest and true thing to say, because there's no reason why I couldn't just knock off a few black orcs in order to get some of these other upgrades I like the Fencer's Blades. So I might have to like force myself and just like, okay, I'll take 38 this time just to try and get those points. Other stuff for, like, say, at the rare, all I had was the river trolls. I really thought that they were going to be doing not so well just because they were so small. But man, those guys are so good. I mean, they're trolls. The -1 to hit is amazing. At one point, somebody had failed a fear test, so they're hitting me on 6s. I really like the unit, and especially there at 10. It's something where it's a very solid unit. It is a good amount of points, but it's big enough to take on enemy horrors, as you saw against the Storm Vermin, and isn't too big, though, to be just all the things in one, like everything in one basket. As far as the tournament goes, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it didn't go my way, but that's not what it's all about, right? Seeing the different ways, like the different missions in there. I liked seeing that they used ones from the rule book, so you kind of knew what to expect, even though we weren't told that. But the way that they even changed as well with the objectives. I think next time they should really write it in there, whether the objectives should be impassable or not. I don't really care either way. It's just something that shouldn't be really up to a roll dice or something that's built into it. The whole thing where there's the objectives from the outside, where then you pick which one of the 6 when you use for that game. I still always love that system, and I'm really happy to see that there. One of the things I did think was a little problem was a little bit of the time limit. I mean, it's really hard because you want to try and get in all these games. It already was running all day. It's not a problem for me because I play very quickly, but I know for some others they got cut off and weren't able to play their whole game. So I don't know what you could even really do with that other than keeping the points shorter or starting earlier. I think it's just one of those things where you just have to bite the bullet and say, if you want to have lunch and not lose these timings, the games have to be only 2 hours. So there you have it. I thought it was a fantastic tournament. I loved my army. There's a few things I might have to go and tweak and change, but either way, even though I didn't win a ticket, I'll just win a ticket at the next one. So thanks for watching, and I have a special video coming up right away. Okay, bye.